And with that, good evening, Bobcat Nation, and welcome to another edition of the Bobcat Blitz Sports Update. My name is Sean Kirkpatrick. I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location, but I'll give you a hint. It's not Northport, and it does involve my day job, which is nursing, so we'll leave it at that. So I want to thank y'all for joining us tonight. We got a really special series going on still the last couple of years. This time of the year, we like to say goodbye to our fall sports as we bring in the winter sports. We've already had a couple of preseason previews. We had girls soccer with Coach DeKay. We had Coach Tillman with the girls basketball. And last week we had basketball boys with Coach Stevenson. But we do want to say goodbye to something very special. We've yet to have this team on here. And I am so excited to not only is it their first time on our show, but we also have another tradition where we get to be the first debut interview of the new hire coaches. So we're going to get two things done here at once in one interview. So without further ado, Coach, are you on the camera right now?
I am.
Oh, Coach, all right. Coach Headley, thank you so much. Could you do me a favor? You are brand new to not only me and John, but the entire viewing audience. Why don't you give a quick introduction on who you are and what is going on with you at Northport High School?
My name's Coach Eric. We moved to Northport in March this year, my family and I. My wife, Audra, who coaches at Heron Creek now, and we have a toddler, his 3-year-old, Reed. Just kind of fell into things, started playing a little volleyball around here and met Coach Halpert, and she kind of introduced us to the Northport High School. They needed some help at the end of this past season, and I had already gotten all my paperwork with Sarasota done, and it kind of just worked out that way that we were kind of introduced to the indoor team just randomly. I ended up helping out with JV. I think it was like the last 3 weeks. I didn't get to work with the ladies on Varsity. I didn't get to work with the seniors much. But I got to watch. I watched practices. I watched a bunch of matches. And it's a good group. And I hate to see them go. Yeah. It's just the way this is.
Well, Coach, it's historic. You are our very first volleyball coach. Now, we did have Aspen Davidson on for beach volleyball, and we'll get to that later on in the year. But our first indoor, you mentioned indoor just now, you're our first coach ever to be interviewed on the indoor. So congratulations. How does it feel to be that special for us?
Wow. I mean, I really don't understand why, but
it's an honor. So let's talk a little bit about your past. I'm assuming you played volleyball. You mentioned that. Were you out of state? Did you play in Florida? What's your background there?
I played indoor and beach all over at different points, depending on where I was. I didn't go to a high school that offered boys volleyball. So I went to a school out of Jersey, outside of New York City, that was there was a girls volleyball team. And I didn't know much about it. It was more football, baseball, swimming. But then I started lifeguarding, and I got to see people play on the beach, and that's kind of how I fell into the fold. But I played at different levels around the nation and sometimes out.
Is this your first high school coaching position to this year at Northport?
No, Northport. I've coached high school girls and boys throughout the years.
Oh, excellent.
Coming out of Pennsylvania, there's a pretty strong group that we were with. So I've coached all levels, from professional level to 12U travel. And
you didn't move to Northport just to coach Northport. It just hadn't opened up at the timing. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, my wife grew up in Lehigh.
Okay.
And this was on our radar at some point. So we finally pulled the trigger, sold the house, bought a house, the whole thing.
So you were going to have a funnel system. What you're saying, we're going to have 8th grade middle school kids coming right into Northport High School.
Yeah. I mean, my wife's at Heron Creek, and then I think it was at Woodland, the other school. Yeah. I think we'll get actively involved with some sort of bigger sister type of program to get around those kids a little more.
And I'm going to throw this out there right now because basketball's been stubborn on me. We used to have a really cool tradition. It was the 2 middle school teams would play their game at Northport High School. It was called the Crosstown Showdown. We did for basketball for many years, and it just went away. And the kids got to see the gym. They got to see where they're going to go to the next year to play at the high school level. They get to have me. I was like the big voice there. We had the music. We had the whole thing. So while you're new here, put that in the back of your mind and get your wife on that. I'd love to see that happen again. Coach, do you know any of these senior athletes that are on? I don't see the screen, so I don't know who's on tonight. Do you know any of them from experience at all? Have you talked to them at all?
Just basically in the gym, watching them practice. Jaden, I've met a bunch of times, even playing sand on Monday nights. We kind of all just play, pick up kind of a deal. But yeah, I mean, I've been around them a little.
That's really cool. I don't think there's many sports out there where coaches get to play at the same
No.
age. So they are our first ever student athlete volleyball players on this show. So if you do me a favor, because I can't see who's on there, can you introduce who's there on your end? You can see it.
I mean, Jaden, you guys can introduce yourselves.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So you have Jaden Davis, and then
I'm Augustina Sorrentino.
Oh, I know Augustine. We actually had you on one time. That's right, student
Yes.
government young lady. I remember this. So ladies, you're both seniors. And we're going to spend a few minutes on you right now because I want to talk to you guys a little bit here since you're my first highlighted ones. I don't know if you ever watched our show before, but at the end of each season, we like to talk to coaches and players on just thoughts on what your whole 4 years. I don't know if you played all 4 years at Northport or if you played other years. Give us your experiences that you had, what positions you played, just memories that you'll remember throughout the rest of your life, things like that. I'll open up to either one of you two.
Jaden, do you want to start?
Jaden, go ahead. I know the favor. Go ahead.
So I was a Bobcat for only 2 years. I started in St. Louis, Missouri. I played on their high school team. Throughout my 4 years, I've been like a DS libero. Last year, I was put in the outside position, but not for very long. And then I think like some of my favorite memories is like the girls that you meet on the team. They become like lifelong best friends. And
do me a favor, explain what a libero. A lot of people don't know the nuances of high school volleyball. Why don't you tell me what a libero is? That's a special word in volleyball that people don't know.
Your main thing is just passing, serve, receive, defense. I think the biggest thing is the different colored jersey, and that's only because you don't count as a substitution.
So people are watching. Yeah, they're the ones in the very back line with the different color. They don't have to worry about messing up substitution rules, which, by the way, no one has ever explained to me. All these years I played beach volleyball, and no one's ever taught me the high school rotation laws, all that. Augustina, what about yourself? How long have you been with Northport playing, and what was your experiences?
I've been playing on the volleyball program since my freshman year. I started on the freshman team, though. That was like the 1 year we had a freshman team.
Okay.
And then I went to JV and then Varsity my last 2 years. And then during my freshman year, we didn't do rotations as a team. So we all kind of played every position.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we didn't do like we subbed, but like we didn't each have like a specific position. And then after that, I just played DS most of my time, sometimes being placed as a right side, depending on the needs of the team. And then I think my favorite thing has always been like looking up to a lot of the seniors that I had my past years. That was something I really liked. I had bonds with the older girls, so that was something I enjoyed as well. And then now being the senior, I get to like lead the younger girls. I really like enjoy that.
And volleyball is unique in the high school rotation. You're one of the first sports up and running. In fact, you might have the first game of the entire year. I believe you did this year. You guys, your home game was the first of any of the sports. So you guys, what did you guys do each summer to get ready for? You had no wiggle room. You were up and going day one on those games. What do you guys do in the summer as in your off season? What is your off season, by the way?
We usually start in July, and we do workouts in the weight room, and then do like an open gym type thing where it's like about hour and a half, 2 hours, where you just practice and play volleyball.
Yeah, past years before this last coaching staff came on, we had started workouts earlier, so we had started them in June. So like right after school ended, we would start volleyball workouts, but with the new staff that we had the past 2 years, it did get moved to July.
So Augustina, you were here long enough to remember what the weight room was before, the old days.
Yeah.
How was that switch there? You would have had 2 years of the new one. So yeah, you're about 50-50. What did you notice differently about that weight room?
It's so much better, honestly. I actually like enjoy working out in it now. Like it feels nicer. It's way more roomy. I mean, the stuff is newer, obviously, and I don't know. It's overall better. It's more like
Yeah.
enjoyable to be in there.
Do either of you, did you play, all the other sports out there have pretty much travel ball, travel leagues. I know there's a Jellies program in the area. Do you all do that kind of stuff in the off season as well, or did you not have to worry about that?
Yes, we were on the same travel team this past season. Her and I.
Was that a local team, or did you have to go somewhere else for that?
It was Jellies. We were playing through Jellies.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there any Northport version of that? I don't know the dynamics of youth volleyball in this area, unfortunately.
No, Northport doesn't have one.
Gotcha. So go to the Jelly. So your 4 years are up. You're senior now. I know for a fact your grades are much better than mine. I'm sure. So I went to UF. I know someone in that group wants to go out of state. That was not part of my world. So how is that going? I mean, I know it's only November, but it's that time where the applications are due, and you've already did early admissions and all that. Are you looking forward to that part of your life, or is it still too long to think about that?
No, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I personally applied to all my early action colleges and got accepted to one of them already.
Good. Yeah. It's always nice to have more than you need there. So I know, Augustine, you had mentioned you're going to go out of state. You're hoping to. Is that still part of your plan? Or are you going to hold back on that? Or yeah?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I early decisioned Boston University. That's my dream school. Yes.
Wow.
So fantastic. I'll find out sometime in December, I'll find out. But yeah, that's my dream, living in Boston. Yeah. But I also applied to early action a lot of in Florida. So just.
There's a lot of good deals in Florida. I went to University of Florida. My daughter's at UCF right now. So, I mean, they're all so good compared to when I was in high school. It didn't have near as many options. So you can't go wrong on some of these schools. So I'm rooting for you. Let's talk a little more about that. Let's talk about how did you all balance your academics with the athletics? Is that volleyball? I mean, you're playing pretty late at night on the road. You come home pretty late at night. How do you get that? How did you find that balance? Did it take a couple of years? Did you get it off the bat? Did the coaches make you do study halls? How does that work for these kids?
Before game days, we had plenty of time before the game started to work on homework, study for tests. And if we had an away game, you usually had time to do it on the bus. For varsity, during away games, we sit in the stands and watch JV. You can always do your homework then, and obviously.
No. Did you really do homework while they're playing volleyball?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I never did, but she did.
I had to get that statistics homework done.
Oh, look at that, man. No, I'd have been too distracted. I'd be rooting for JV all the time. That's too funny. Oh my gosh. So, parents are watching. We've had twice as many viewers this year as we did last year. So what would you say to, the fifth graders out there, parents who haven't quite had their kids pick a sport yet at the women's division? What would you say the best, 2 or 3 best things you would recommend to go into volleyball, not only at the middle school level, but to keep going into the high school level? What was your recommendation to recruit more Bobcat volleyball players?
I personally think that it's like a very inclusive sport. Like you can it's easy to make friends playing volleyball. At least for me, it was it was very you get to talk, you get to have fun, you communicate a lot on the court, so you know people in that sense too.
Yeah. And
also it's not a sport that you specifically need to start doing as a child, where you need to acquire a lot of skill as a younger person. You can definitely start that sport in middle school, and not as other sports like football. It's easier if you start way younger because you already acquire those skills. But volleyball, I think, is something that you can start in that middle school level and still become very competitive by the time you get to high school.
And how about Dave and Jay? Can you hear that? Do you have anything to add to that in terms of parent recruitment here? What would you recommend for them to come in for?
No.
So,
I don't know, because personally, volleyball, I just fell in love with the sport. I played it and I was like, this is going to be my sport. I tried a lot of different other things before volleyball. So I think the inclusiveness and the friends kind of drew me into that as well, like Augustina said.
Did either of you have parents who played?
My mom did play.
Hey, I try to get that out of you. I actually knew that answer, so yeah, that helps. Yeah. So and you're indoors, for the indoor part. You get out of that heat and the sun, and the sweat, and all that. But the big lure, of course, is going into the beach season. Do either of you go to the beach season for high school or not?
Yes.
Oh, good. So you're technically, it's like the cross country runners. They're not done. They're going to go to track and field, and same thing. You're not done. You're indoor. You're going to go to beach. So we'll catch up with you again later on in the year. I hope that would be really cool. Well, I'm going to let you go here in a few minutes. I want to talk to Coach some more. What would you? Anyone to say goodbye? Any special shout outs to anybody who's watching? Your parents, coaches, teammates, anybody out there?
No. Jaden was probably the best team that I had. So yeah.
Yeah. Same with August.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much. And again, since you are coming back in the spring, I'll definitely wrap up with you two. I'd like to have you back on for the beach season, and we'll talk more about your college plans and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for coming on tonight. I do appreciate it. Say hi to your parents. Fantastic. Again, give yourself one more time the names. I can't see you again. I know Augustine and Jay. Go ahead and give your names again.
Jaden Davis.
There you go.
Augustina Sorrentino.
All right. I'll see you in a few months, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. So what we've noticed on the show the last few years is across the board, the ladies athletes tend to have the higher GPAs. And you as coaches don't have to work as hard to keep those grades up because they're pretty self-motivated on their own side. So hopefully you walk in that situation next year. So what do you think? What do you think, listening to those young ladies? Anything you can add to the parents who are watching in terms of why should they come to your program next year, since no one even knows much about you outside the pickup games? What's your philosophy that you're hoping to do this year as a team? Let's start there.
Well, I think after talking with, even that was the most I've heard from both Jaden and Augustina because I'm so new.
Right, of course.
I think that it's really important to not lose the aspect of the fun. You know, we joke in my house about Bluey, the show, and keep you uppy with the balloon. Yeah. And I think it's going to be, we're going to work hard. We're going to learn a lot, and we're definitely going to do what we need to do to compete at the highest level possible. But let's have some fun too. Yeah. You talked about beach. Beach is a more casual vibe. I've coached a lot of beach. We don't get to coach them while they're on the court. So you have to really start at a young age, helping them with volleyball IQ, just basic common sense ball on the court to be competitive. So you're not going to get a lot of sports. I mean, volleyball is a sport where every point's earned by a mistake. So you kind of have to have tough skin. And when they're little, like that 6th, 7th, 8th grade in middle school here, it's good if they could have some fun, kind of laugh about, keep it light, laugh about the mistake they made, but also, hey, let's refocus. Let's get ready for the next ball. So overall, the sport itself will help you move on. The volleyball sport itself will help you move on from little mistakes and how to work through that. So it's a good sport.
And for the casual observer, it might drive them crazy because, yes, every time I watch college and pro, whenever they make a mistake, they always come together in a circle and clap it off. Mm-hmm. And for those of us who are raised much older than you, I'm sure we're used to the opposite. We're getting screamed at and yelled at. Like you're made to feel terrible for making mistakes to the point where you get neurotic about it. So it's really interesting to see that dynamic. And I got to bring this up, Coach. You know the area very well. You are in the middle. You are surrounded pretty much a ring of high-level volleyball programs. In Northport, let's be honest, they've not gotten to the point where at that level. So
that's fair.
And of course, we want to see you guys win districts every year and all that. So for the kids to have fun and not getting screamed at because they're making mistakes, I've seen coaches come into our gym and they start off nice, but by the second and third match they're just, you can tell the clipboard's gonna hit the ground soon. And that's not that might not be the best way to approach these young ladies.
A better chance of seeing me eat a walking taco on the bench than throwing a clipboard.
Well, that's
in all fairness. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. If I'll give you a little introspect. I've coached. I was 18s coaching 18s. Okay, and then I would take a break from coaching and play and travel and play, and then come back to. I always came back to coaching. It's not about me, right? The practices are a little about me. I write them. I know what I want to see to prepare for the next match, overall team play. But the match itself, yes, I'm going to get loud. I'm going to help you move. I'm going to help you be in the right position. But if things get planted well enough, at some point it gets quiet. I always tell the kids this. It gets quiet. I'm going to be on the bench. You're doing what you're supposed to do. I'm going to start asking you, what could you have done differently? Being able to process not only helps these kids at high school level prepare for a future where they need to figure out what they did right, what they did wrong. You know, you're not always going to get a pat on the back at work because you did your job right that day. You're not always going to get berated because you messed up. It's just they have this sport itself, or coaching any sport, you really have to help them transition for independent thinking. So overall, the sport I've found, and I fell in love just like Jaden. I fell in love with the sport as soon as I saw it. There was sun, there was beach, you know, there was all kinds of cool things going on, and I fell in love immediately. And at 50, it's one of the few sports at 51 I could hop on the court and still play.
Yeah,
you can't get a football guys together, but maybe 5 at my age. We are all going to be out of work the next day. So the sport itself, I think, if you're talking to parents of the younger kids, it is a good sport. It's a really good sport, and Northport does have talent. And I got asked by a reporter. I watched Lemon Bay and us compete varsity indoor. And there wasn't a big difference athletically between the two sides. It was more independent thinking decisions. What was your decision here? What was positioning, right? So a lot of that stuff can be right out of the gates. Positioning can be fixed right away. So it's a sport for the younger kids. If they get into it and they stay with it, it opens doors. But it's also a great sport to learn. The girls are tough because they're so analytical. I've coached boys. They want to jump higher, hit harder.
Yeah.
The girls want to know which way their toes are going.
All right, what angle should they approach the dig and all that? Sure.
So
So,
it's more of a challenge.
you know, Coach, one of the things I picked up on some of our sports, because you're coming into a school that doesn't have a historically strong track record yet. I still think, I think we're ready the talent's here for it. I think that might actually be to your advantage. You're not under as much stress to get those 6'1", 6'2" outside hitters and inside hitters and all. You can actually develop a nice core here coming up these next couple of years with you, and like you said, have fun doing it. I really think you have the potential to see some great growth here. And I don't know if you have assistant coaches lined up yet that can help you with that. I don't know if Miss Howard's going to help you out again or not. Or I know she helped a little bit last year.
We'll cross that bridge. Right now, I'm just focusing on the beach. You know, beach is
okay.
Yeah, so beach is right around the corner. The girls are getting together for open court, so I've had a chance to work with them. But the indoor section, I mean, every single thing you do in beach, you could correlate to indoor as well. So there's no bad doing both. So if you're a parent of a younger kid, doing both is fine. You know, some people will argue one's better than the other. You know what? Just play. You know what teaches volleyball the best, better than any coach I've ever met? Playing volleyball.
Yeah. Hitting that ball.
If you're going to play. Then go ahead.
Actually, beach might be a good way for them to start because it's just 2 of them, and it might be a less complicated way to introduce the kids. It's you and your partner. You don't have to worry about dig, set, spike, and all that. It's just you and your buddy there. So
you're going to learn real quick. You're going to learn real quick on beach volleyball that communication is 100%, needed.
When does that start? Real quick, just give a little teaser out there. When do you?
I believe the first week of February will be tryouts, and then the roster. We'll have about 14 on the roster.
Man, that's not far at all, friend. It's they got winter break off. That's 2 weeks gone. Thanksgiving 3 weeks on. Yeah, before you know it, that's already here. Wow, my goodness.
And I want to say something that I've always tried to get out for any younger parents of younger kids. Don't forget to leave time to let kids be kids. Mm-hmm. Because you're right. And I just heard Jaden and them talk. They're doing jellies. And then what's going on right now is club volleyball. So they have night practice. Then they have beach volleyball practice right after school. And then they would go right to end. You got to put some time. Burnout's a real thing. I've coached college level incoming freshmen, and they're burnt out when they arrive. And then now they're going to get pushed to 2-a-days, and they're going to be traveling in a bus, stopping at Wendy's. It's just make sure they're still having fun and that they're understanding that they're allowed to be a kid with downtime.
That's interesting you say that because, John, I've talked about this over the last couple of years. I was raised in Florida, in Sarasota County, actually. Mm-hmm. My volleyball experience was always beach volleyball, but it wasn't all year, I go for a few weeks, stop playing, go play football, go play basketball. We could cross-train on different sports. The culture of all year long had not quite reached when I hit high school. It wasn't quite there. It was starting to show up a little bit when I hit college in the 90s, but it wasn't quite there yet. And, I'm not going to bash all your teams. I get it. There's a level there that I was never that good to be an all-year person. So I get why it's attractive to some athletes and all that. But it really does raise the question. We raise it every year. What does all year versus having fun here and there? I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a parent right now. How's that? I'm glad I don't have to make that decision
and it's
anymore.
expensive. And there's the saving grace to beach. It is a more chilled atmosphere. You're gonna get music. You're gonna get wind. It's beach. You're still gonna work your butt off to get a ball with your partner, and there's all the good things that are gonna happen too. But that's still a pretty hefty night. You know, if you have a match on a Tuesday, like we have 2 matches back to back as I'm working on the schedule, and I didn't really think much about it. And I was like, man, that's going to be really tough the second match. But it is what it is, because I'll be honest with you, I'm new. It's hard to schedule matches right now.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've made some phone calls. Turns out I know people from playing on the different tours for years. So that's people have been very good to give us some matches we might not. They might have been like, no, Northport, because we're 5-30 in the past 3 years on the beach.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, hey, we're really going to help you get ready for playoffs.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about it for a minute. So you said you're from up north. Yeah. You're probably used to, like I was growing up in high school, your districts were home and away. You played every team twice. You played home, and now you come to Florida, and they have this new system where you don't play your district teams all the time. In fact, you might not play any of them, and they rank it based on strength of schedules and quality wins versus quality losses, stuff like that. Have you seen that yet?
Yes, I have. I'm very. I'll be honest. It's very eye opening. It's a little bit like the Wild West, looking at the way they do this
like it, right?
here. You're right. Up north, we tend to coaching high school indoor. You will definitely play all your conference teams or district. The same thing up north, twice, and then you might bump heads with them second round, and when you get the district playoffs. So. Yeah, it's tough. I'm going to let everybody know I'm not scared to book anybody on the schedule. It's just the way it is. We will be traveling. We have I think we booked LaBelle. It's a little bit of a distance. But that's what we have to do to get matches on the schedule. And not only do you need a certain amount of matches to qualify, you want to play teams that are pretty good. You know, let's test this out now, and let's not get beat up. And I think we'll turn some heads. There's some talent, like you said earlier.
Sure.
Transitioning.
They got 100,000 people in the city. They're going to be there somewhere.
Yeah, they're out there. And the girls are great. Every kid I've met thus far has been, and the parents too, have been super good. I was around them a little, I'm not going to lie, because I play that Monday night thing, and the kids from Northport and Port Charlotte, I coach some of the Port Charlotte kids too, because I was doing some private free lessons for them. Just to meet people and do our thing. So I've luckily been around some of the kids a little, and it's been the districts. I might take me a little bit to wrap my head around.
We talked to Patrick Aubley, who's the editor of the Sun Sports. We've had him on before. We'll never find the equation. You can't ever see it. No. So it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain there. Maybe you'll go up or down a few points here and there. So you said that you did Port Charlotte. Volleyball to me, there's a lot of community, not just rivalry, but they actually, when the game's over, there's still community. And the only athlete, and I kind of got some grief for it, the only athlete that I ever put on our show that wasn't from Northport High School was a Port Charlotte volleyball player, Nigeria Hart. She's up at UCF right now.
Okay.
And I happened to bump into her. You know Nigeria? She played, she's a freshman out at UCF, so you might have missed her this year. But she was always coming to our gym, and I had to call her name as the announcer, like Nigeria Hart, because she kept hiking every point. Like, oh my God. But I bumped into her at a signing ceremony. They had like a fan day or something in August, and I was with my daughter up there, and she remembered my voice from announcing, and she's like, oh yeah. So I had a nice picture with her, and I told her, because people were rooting for her, even Northport High School kids, we can root for people we just a year ago would have been our opponent. We still want to see our local kids do well. So she's the only one. Volleyball is the only sport that I let a non-Bobcat player be on our show. So
I mean, I was coaching and helping with the varsity match, and when they played Port Charlotte, and 3 or 4 of the girls come over and gave me a hug and said, "It's good to see you." It's
a weird thing to see, right? We're so used to they're our enemy, but they're not. Yeah. They're kids. They're still kids, and they're having fun. So I like that.
I'll tell you, I owned a volleyball travel club up north for a long time, and there was not a problem to coach.
Yeah,
you could get your 18U team, might be 6 different schools and school districts on that team. So then you go back around for the next following year in the fall to play them indoor, and you're gonna see them, and they're gonna come over, and you're gonna get dirty looks from the other coaches, and you're just like, I'm a club coach. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, one thing not worry about, but for you as a new coach in this area, boosters and sponsors are so hard to get going. I don't know how that's going for you right now because you are pretty new to the area, but that's a tough one. And so people you're watching out there, that sounds like a great program coming our way. I'd love to see more sponsors come in and help the volleyball program. So I don't know if there's any sponsors you have yet. If you want to give them a shout out, we do a little series here where we go. We can actually go to your sponsors. Not all of them, but I can go to one here and there, and I'll try to highlight them. So if there's anybody you already have up and running, think about it. You can give a shout out now if you want. It's up to you.
Oh, that's awesome. We're working on a few things. We're working on a few things right now for Beach. Is predominantly they haven't had home matches in 3 years. So we're now going to work on, I know Mr. Kimball was working on talking to Northport Parks and Recs to get us some home matches. At that point, we are looking for sponsors for the ball stops. So that would help the program quite a bit. And once we get approval for all of that, we'll start to reach out to everybody. I'm a little late to the dance, but I feel like
it's hard. We want to help you with that because you need the extra help here. Where would the city be thinking about doing that? Because we love our city people. We have great partnerships with the city. I want to give a shout out. Do you know where that might be?
So our home matches would be at Dallas White Park.
Okay.
So Dallas White Park itself needs a little bit of work, but we're fine. The girls have been out there working on the nets a little, and we're kind of doing some self-maintenance over there. But once they sign, I guess they have to lease it essentially, Northport High School.
Excellent.
And once they sign that paperwork, we can then start to invest in the ball stops. And it's a great opportunity because if we have home matches, there's enough parents. There's 14 kids on each team, 16 some of these teams. You do the math. It's a pretty good opportunity to get a local company a shout out to during the match, during practices, whatever it'll be up a lot.
And like I said, we'll help you out with that too. If you have a sponsor
you'd
like to highlight, we'll definitely. If they're local, I can go catch them after work if I can. So
yeah, that's great.
I apologize for that car. I'm actually in the parking lot. If you came in late, I'm in a parking lot here, and I can't control the car. Just went by me.
That's okay.
I couldn't hear a word you said. I only heard half of what you said, but I got the gist of it. So,
Coach,
I want to thank you for coming on today. I hope this wasn't too intimidating for you. We're nice people. We love having you here.
It's been great.
So
I really appreciate it.
Before we let you go, can you think of any shout outs, any websites you have, any kind of stuff like that coming up for yourself?
I mean, I just want to wish the girls who are playing club, I just hope they have a good time, and I hope they're able to have a fun season. I mean, again, club is, those kids don't end sometimes till June if you go to nationals. It's a grind. And for the parents, I'm hoping we can work together to bring some changes for the volleyball program over at Northport, both beach and indoor.
All right. Well, Coach Headley, thank you so much for this. I look forward to hearing you in the spring when we catch up with your beach volleyball, and of course next year we'll be here before you know it. August will be June, July when you get started. It's gonna be here in no time. So
I know
that's new varsity. I gotta start saying anything. New varsity head coach, Coach Headley. There. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Okay, guys. So we will catch up. We will not have an episode next Tuesday. It's going to be Thanksgiving break. I have to go pick up my daughter from college for the break, so I won't be able to catch that night. So we'll catch up again in December. We still have to hear from wrestling. So parents, if you're watching, get on your students. We haven't heard from wrestling yet. We haven't heard from boys soccer either. So we need to get their preseason previews going on as well. And one last sport that is still running for the fall. Give a huge shout out. Another state team. That's right. Coach Duque, ladies cross country, they are going to states yet again. The streak continues. Of course, Malia Hambrick going for her 4th attempt, 3 in a row she's placed. Let's see if she can do one more. That would make her, I believe, our most awarded state finalist. I'm going to kind of hint at that. So, and that will be Coach Duque's last ever coaching for us at Northport High School for the cross country girls. He still has a soccer team, of course, doing great things. We can't wait to see it. Now, by the way, let's give a big shout out. Basketball, lady basketball, Bobcat Basketball starts out their season. A big one last night at home, taking on Sebring. Gentlemen, they will take on. They'll start Thursday night in the cage, the boys basketball. So a lot going on. This is that time of the year. We have everything going on. I believe tonight, Lady Bobcat Soccer is taking on Imagine. Here's a weird one. They're going to be at the Preserve, their own home field, but they're going to be the away team. They're doing a really nice thing for Imagine. They're helping them out by switching the home and away because Imagine does not have a field quite yet. So a lot going on. Pay attention to all on our Facebook page. We do appreciate it. John Rongs, I hope you can hear me because I'm going to say goodbye. I've got